a guy like Koepka, whose contract ends in 2026, if he were to want to come back, I think there's got to be a path for those guys to come back and play on the PGA Tour. And I don't know what that looks like. I've heard that 2027 is the earliest that anything can happen.
Where are you on the idea of LIV and the PGA Tour ever coming together? I have a feeling that obviously when LIV started, it was some body blows and the guys that they took. And then the last couple of seasons, Scottie Scheffler became Scottie Scheffler. And we've seen the great stories this year. Rory completing the career Grand Slam. Tommy Fleetwood finally breaking through after all those top 10s and top 5s at the Tour Championship. I feel like the PGA Tour is in a much more stronger position with their leverage against LIV than they have been over the last couple of years.
I don't see the PGA Tour and LIV merging in any form. I think that's not going to happen. What I would like to see is if guys like Koepka or Bryson, who I think LIV's going to re-sign a lot of these guys. So the big names that are the team captains or whatever their title is over there, I've heard their contracts run through 2026. All the other guys like the Harold Varners and those guys, they were up at the end of this year. And what I'm seeing is that a lot of the guys are re-signing with LIV. Now, if a guy like Koepka, whose contract ends in 2026, if he were to want to come back, I think there's got to be a path for those guys to come back and play on the PGA Tour. And I don't know what that looks like. I've heard that 2027 is the earliest that anything can happen. I know a guy named Hudson Swafford, who was one of the first guys to go, multiple winner on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
He got relegated off of LIV. And the PGA Tour basically said, you have a year suspension, you can come back and try to play in 2027, is what I've heard. So I think that is what we're looking at as far as any sort of unity. But, I mean, I don't think LIV's going anywhere, and I'm shocked by it because I've been saying for years that the product is not really great to watch. Doesn't seem like they care. Guys like DeChambeau show up for majors, and you can tell he cares. He showed up for the Ryder Cup, and he cared. But it just doesn't seem like they care that much about it over there. So I'm just shocked that the Public Investment Fund is still putting as much money into this thing as they are, seeing no profit in sight and not really any sort of traction in the golf world.
Well, see, I think what you just said is the bigger thing. They don't mind burning cash. They got plenty of it. I think that if they would have an honest moment with us, they're upset that they haven't found a way to get a seat at the table. Because I think that was the whole point of this thing. And in full disclosure, they talked to me about doing stuff for them, and I just didn't want to do it. But to me, they don't mind burning money. They got plenty of that. I think what they're trying to figure out is how come we haven't gotten what we really wanted, which was a seat at the table. Like a seat at the power table, because that's what they've done in Formula One. That's what they've done in EPL, English Premier League. I think they're upset that they haven't figured out a way that this diversion or this division could create an opportunity for them to be where they want, which is at the highest seat of the table in the game of golf.
I mean, they tried to buy LIV. I mean, they tried to buy the DP World Tour, and the tour kind of put a stop to it. That would have been the avenue that they needed to go to get a seat at the table. And their unwillingness, the world ranking, as flawed as whatever you want to call the official world golf ranking, I think that it's fine. LIV just not being willing to play 4 rounds or cut out the team aspect of it.
Right.
If they really wanted a seat at the table, do what the world ranking board told you to do, get world ranking points, and then now you would have something. Otherwise, it's just these special invitations into majors, and I just it seems like they're talking out both sides of their mouth if they want to be relevant, but they don't want to play by the rules that the OWGR has set forth. I think that would be the only thing that could make them any sort of relevant in the next few years, but they're not willing to do it.
No, they're not. And you mentioned the whole thing. Like, no one's saying they don't have good golfers. The product is not something that people care about. It's just that simple. Because if it was, they would watch it more, and they wouldn't have to give away tickets. So that, to me, that's their biggest issue going forward.